Well, Gods of the Upper Air is a book that tries to explain how we got to the set of debates that we're having in the United States and around the world about the fixedness or fluidity of social categories that are critical to us: race and gender and sexuality and ethnicity and nationality. It's a collective biography of a group of people who were grappling with these issues in the 1920s and 1930s by going around the world to some of the most exotic places in the world to try to figure out how it is that people very different from themselves organized society. And what they discovered is a set of ideas that drive societies we see today, debates them as we see them today, about the fact that we are creatures of a culture, that how we see the world is determined not by our innards, but by what happens around us, by the society and culture in which we happen to live. Franz Boas, or Papa Franz, as his graduate students knew him, was a professor at Columbia University, a professor of anthropology, and the advisor to this really remarkable group of people who became some of the most important thinkers, writers, scientists of their generation. Margaret Mead, the outspoken field researcher, author of Coming of Age in Samoa, probably the most read book of social science in the 20th century. Zora Neale Hurston, the great Harlem Renaissance writer, who was also a doctoral student. Not many people know this, a doctoral student of Franz Boas's, and a really superb ethnographer in her own right. Ruth Benedict, who reshaped the way the United States dealt with Japan after the Second World War, and a host of other thinkers and writers and travelers and adventurers who shaped the debates that we have today about the relativity of culture and morality, about the way in which our ideas are situated in time and space. I think I would have really wanted to go along with Zora Neale Hurston to Haiti. She spent far more time in the field than most of her colleagues, actually, even though she's known now as a novelist rather than as an anthropologist or ethnographer. But she had this incredible ability to inhabit the places and societies where she went. And whether that was going to a juke joint on the Gulf Coast and getting into a knife fight, or going through voodoo initiation rituals in New Orleans and in Haiti, or in Haiti itself, being the first person we know of to photograph a person she knew as a zombie. She was a person that I think you would want to tag along with. Well, I think the book tells the story of three of the anthropologists, Margaret Mead, Rayo Fortune, and Gregory Bateson, who ended up in what is now Papua New Guinea in the 1930s in a kind of gin-fueled, malarial, sexual triad that was absolute hell. And anybody who has done field work in difficult environments, or frankly, anybody who's been to graduate school, has probably experienced some version of the horror that I describe in that chapter. And I never, you don't want to go back to 8th grade. You don't want to go back to graduate school to be in that kind of environment. So I think that will resonate with a lot of people who have been through similar experiences.